Welcome to Corvallis. Today, the state of Oregon is a house divided. Last week, Oregon stunned Utah in the final seconds. On a drive engineered by freshman quarterback Justin Herbert, Beavers quarterback Marcus McMaryion had an impressive performance of his own against Arizona. Ryan Nall has returned to form and hopes to power Oregon State to their first rivalry win in 9 seasons. It's the 120th edition of the Civil War. You played in many rivalry games. What's it like?
Oh, the veins in the forehead are pumping right now. You can feel your heartbeat in every joint. These kids are so ready. It's wild down there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And this is one of the more heated rivalries in college football in Oregon, and Oregon State coming in with momentum. Oregon, a big win, a big comeback last week in the upset at Utah.
Absolutely giant win for that program, the way they came ready to play. Now, Justin Herbert, he did a nice job down the stretch. He made key plays. Evan Bayless right here over the middle. He made plays with his legs when he had to. He could scramble. He found ways to keep the ball moving forward and stay ahead of the chains against a very good Utah defense. And the more he got going, the more momentum he had, the better he seemed to play. And it all paid off at the end with the pass to Carrington to win that game.
So Oregon, that late controversial touchdown by Darren Carrington got them the win in Salt Lake City. On the other side, you were here, Glenn, to see Oregon State. Terrific performance against Arizona last week, and Ryan Nall is back into Ryan Nall form.
I love him. He's a battering ram of a football player. He's the type of guy you like. So it's very simple what they try to do. They run their offense through him. Now it starts off with just straight zone blocking, hat on a hat, let him go through and hit some, get your 3 to 4 yards. Then they'll use split flow. Now you'll watch, it's the same type of blocking scheme except your H-back is going to come across. This led to some huge gains against the Wildcats. But what it is, it's about setting up looks. So there's your split flow, in he goes. It's good for 4 or 5 yards. Now that same look, here we are. Now your defense is getting used to being pummeled by Nall because it's coming at him all the time. So they see the same action, they react to it. Now they know it's play action to this point. The safety, Isaac Hayes, right there. Isaiah Hayes is looking. He thinks he's got this post route nailed. He's going to get the pick. Double move. They waited to the perfect time to use it. They kept bringing Nall at him time after time, play after play. That opened up big gains. And hey, if it comes down to it, Ryan Nall can do it all himself. He'll break 4 or 5 tackles to get in the end zone. The guy is a battering ram. Love the way he plays. Old school.
The wrecking Nall is here. Come the Beavers out onto the field for the 120th Civil War.
In addition to being the 120th edition of the Civil War, it is also senior day here at Reser Stadium. The last time that 18 Beavers are going to put on those Oregon State unis before they bid adieu next year. One of them is obviously Victor Bolden Jr., who is one of just 16 guys in the nation to score as a rusher, a receiver, and a kick returner here in 2016. But it's not just a big day for the players, it's also a big day for the parents, like Chandrika Deku, who's seeing her son Treston play here at Reser for the very first time. A battle with breast cancer has forced her to watch his other OSU games from her home in Louisiana, but she said she wasn't going to miss coming out here for this one, making her son some gumbo on Thanksgiving, cheering him on here today. And Coach Gary Anderson says that he cannot thank these seniors enough for buying in, for sacrificing so much. He says he's always going to wish he could give these kids more wins, but he knows that one win today would be something these seniors could hold on to for a lifetime.
Reser Stadium, the Ducks won the toss and will receive the kickoff to begin the 120th Civil War. Adley Rutschman with the kickoff, and it goes through the back of the end zone on a couple of bounces. There his numbers last week in the comeback win against Utah. As Herbert making his 7th start after taking over midseason for Dakota Prukop.
It'll be interesting for me, Roxy, right away. I want to look at the middle of that Oregon State defense in depth. Not the line, but linebackers, safeties, if they can hold up.
Herbert, the play action on first down. Firing the deep ball for Johnny Muntz, and it's incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 25. First carry for Royce Freeman, and Freeman picks up a couple before he's chopped down.
Nice job, Calvin Throckmorton, the right tackle, pinning and getting the edge so that there was any yardage to be had at all.
Freeman's the running back. Herbert dumps it off to Freeman. And Freeman brought down shy of a first down. Dwayne Williams closing in along with Hungalu for Oregon State.
You notice what they're doing defensively. As Royce Freeman moves, they move defensively with him so that they've got a big linebacker and a corner sitting there waiting for the underneath throw.
Oregon goes 3 and out. As Wheeler with a short punt, bobbled, and luckily for Oregon State, Andre Bowden jumps on top of it. He struggled with a 29-yard punt from Ian Wheeler, and Oregon State's going to start, Glenn, with good field position.
Yeah, and Oregon is lucky that they didn't pick up a penalty here because he's on his knee, so he's down. It's dead ball the minute he shows that he has it. Now, heads-up play to grab that ball. Oliver heads-up play to throw himself in there because it was clear he didn't quite have total possession.
The injuries at quarterback, McMarion getting the nod in Civil War for the second straight season. Ryan Null, the running back. And McMarion keeps it. And McMarion brought down shy of a first down, but he gets 9 as Brendan Schooler on the stop.
Don't have depth at quarterback. And this is simple zone read concepts. And if you're going to put yourself down there, you better go a little harder.
And on that play, the umpire, Matt Jordan, is being attended to by the athletic trainers for Oregon State. Lan Clark is our referee and his crew today.
We're going to look at it here. Yeah, he takes a helmet right up to his face, and so we hope that he's all right. He's laughing.
Null goes in motion. The pass out to Null. Makes a move. Null breaks a tackle into Oregon territory.
I tell you what, NFL scouts drool when you see a running back reach down and snatch that ball out of the air. He didn't go to his knee. That's great hands, great awareness to know where he was on the field and what he had to do with it.
Good effort from Troy Dye to trip him up. It's Ryan Null, and he's brought down the line. Good read from Johnny Reagan, the linebacker.
The unfortunate truth in college football is unless you're a factory, and there aren't many, there's a few, your second and third guys are just not there for you.
Ryan Null through the line, first down.
He's the type of guy, there's guys that make people miss, and then there's guys that make people want to miss. And there's a lot of people want to miss tackling him because he hits you so hard. But he does a great job there being nifty.
McMarion on the rollout. Throws coming back. Incomplete. Tried to get it to Timmy Hernandez. Well, you were alluding to his elusiveness and his ability to power through tackles. Thanks to our friends at PFF College. Here's the yards after contact per rushing attempt this year, and Ryan Null, the leader in the conference.
And that just shows you, the first off, it's per attempt. So your tackles for loss figure and everything, how many yards he's getting after that first contact, that's impressive.
He averages just under 7 yards per carry on the season on 2nd and 10. And they keep it on the ground. And it's Hernandez on the carry.
Watch him outside. He comes down right there. Big shot. It's clean yardage.
Paul Lucas actually the ball carrier. Johnny Reagan was the victim of that block from Villeman and is still down.
Welcome back to the Civil War, and what a great sight it was during the coin toss here in Corvallis. That is Seth Collins in the long black coat, just released from the hospital on Thanksgiving. I talked to his teammates as he stands with them on the sideline before the game, and Victor Bolden Jr. tells me that it means everything to have him here today, and that's even more so than just because it's a rivalry. They want to win this game for him, guys.
Yeah, Kate, great to see Seth Collins here with his teammates. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in the Civil War last season where Oregon State tried to come back but fell just short in a high-scoring affair in Eugene. Marcus McMarion on 3rd down will keep it. And he runs for a first down, lunging forward to the 20.
Last year, he wouldn't have taken that long. He would have made one read and gone, and it probably would have been stopped. But this time, by waiting and progressing and then going, the defense gets farther away.
For Oregon State, a furious comeback. McMarion dumps it off. And Victor Bolden gets inside the 15 before he's run out by Daquan McDowell. Ryan Null straight ahead. There's a flag. Touchdown.
The touchdown will count. Personal foul. Hands to the face. Defense number 74.
So it is a touchdown, the 10th rushing score for Null, and it was a personal foul on Elijah George of the Ducks.
And it's something you rarely see called, and you can see he's got his hands up in the face mask of Dustin Stanton, the right guard. Now remember, those umpires, they're so much tighter now as you get down in the red zone. That's a very alert call and a good job by that official.
Garrett Owens, the extra point. The Beavers strike first in the Civil War. And kicking off for midfield after the personal foul as Adley Rutschman sends it through the end zone.
It's everybody blocked down. Now here's your key. Get across and get to the second level. Ryan Null, absolutely a beast. He's going to run through one tackle right there and then make a man miss. Null, 29 yards on that drive. 25 yards were after contact. That's where we get those numbers.
Justin Herbert. And it's Royce Freeman tripped up for Freeman, who has a pair of 100-yard games in his career against Oregon State. Herbert on the move. And it's caught for a first down to Jaylen Brown. Herbert to Charles Nelson. And quickly on top of Nelson, Treston Decoud. And there is another Oregon player injured. And it's Evan Bayless.
The play of Decoud is going to be huge for this Beavers team. If the corners can hold up and press and make tackles, that allows your safeties to roam and be in the box. Decoud is a long, strong player.
And as Kate told you, playing in front of mom for the first time, the breast cancer survivor. Justin Herbert dumps it off, and it's Jacob Breland the catch. And he gets out to the 43, and the tight end position a little bit depleted with Bayless just getting shaken up. Farrell Brown not in uniform today, and that's a position where Oregon has had success over the years using their tight ends.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, it was something that talking with Sam Polis, I wanted to watch those tight ends, particularly against this defense where I think there's mismatches.
Third and short. It's Freeman up the middle, and he gets out to midfield. First down, Oregon. Then after the play, flags come flying in as Hungalu was tangled up with a duck.
Yeah, and I think he's going to get a 15-yarder on him. It'll happen right at the end of the play. There's a little extracurricular on the part of Cameron Hunt, but it's always the second guy that gets called.
Senior offensive lineman
After the play,
there for Oregon.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 55. A 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Just past the midway point of this opening quarter as Freeman dances it outside. And Royce Freeman barreling to the 31.
Oregon loves to run pin and pull. It's you block down, you pull linemen, and if any of their linemen can pull on any given play, in this case, left tackle and center. A great job getting under the block was Dwayne Williams. That way it set the edge. There was nowhere for Freeman to go.
And Tony Brooks-James gets his first carry, and he bounces it outside. First down, Ducks, run out by Decoud. At the 23. Brooks-James dances toward the sideline, cuts it back in, and he's wrestled down and has another first down on the tackle for Oregon State, but that was a nice run by Brooks-James.
It sure was. You know, he was patient. He let the pullers get out there. He let them set their blocks. Then he took off. Got to be your own best blocker as a running back.
So the sophomore speedster from Gainesville, Florida, moves the 6. Oregon in the red zone for the first time. One more time, Tony Brooks-James up the middle. Brandon Arnold finally brought him down at the 3. An impressive drive going for Oregon.
Yeah, they're leaning on their offensive line. They're leaning on letting them lead the way.
Tony Brooks-James, he's in. Touchdown, Ducks. And again, the patience, Glenn, for Brooks-James to wait for his blocking.
That's right. He waited patiently. He let his guard, his center, and his backside tackle get push, and then dove in behind him.
9th rushing touchdown for Tony Brooks-James. And Schneider converts, and we are tied in the Civil War. 7-up. Well, the last win for Oregon State was down the road in Eugene in this series, as James Rogers proved to be the difference. The Beavers stopped the Ducks on a last sequence here to seal the victory. In Oregon State, 38-31 in double overtime at Autzen Stadium, and the first road team to win the Civil War in 10 attempts. And Oregon State current graduate assistant Lyle Moyval started at quarterback in that game as Oregon State won in double overtime. The last Beaver win, and they're hoping they can end that drought against the Ducks today.
Yeah, that they are. They feel they've got the team, and it's the right situation.
And that's the one thing that strikes me with Gary Anderson. The buy-in factor, Glenn, which you've talked about it. This team easily could have quit with all the tough, heartbreaking losses they've suffered this year, the injuries, but every week they bring their best effort and they keep fighting. Movement up front.
All right, so they moved Gus Lavaca from tight end. He was out at tight end on the right.
False start. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
They shifted. He goes to the left tight end, and he just got a little excited. I think he was so excited to be in motion and shift.
Hands and speed? You?
Sure, yeah. Hard to believe.
Ryan Knoll into the line, runs right into Wayne Tay Kirby, the freshman from Pocatello, Idaho. And a short pickup for Knoll, and the Ducks want to keep it going. Knoll goes in motion. Marcus McMarion over the middle, and it's incomplete.
This ball is just too far out. You know, there's the old saying, throw him open, but the ball's got to be there. This one is just short. It's dying on him. Hernandez does a great job trying to come up with it.
McMarion, the screen for Pierce. Pierce knocked down at the 30-yard line. Perebski, the native of Melbourne, Australia, from his own 15. Dylan Mitchell back to return. Mitchell from his 25. Flag down. Mitchell out to midfield, but I have a feeling this is coming back. So an Oregon player is down, and it's Kaulana Apelu.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 12. A 10-yard penalty. First down, Oregon.
Oregon with the ball as Apelu walked off the field. From the Ducks 17, Royce Freeman at running back. And Freeman bottled up, and that's a loss on the play. Get tickets at pack-12.com/tickets. Jacob Breland the catch. Nice throw from Herbert. Split backs. Breland is in the backfield. And Herbert lobs it deep for Charles Nelson. And it's broken up, incomplete. Treston Decoud.
Decoud was beat. The ball, if it had any more velocity, might have been gone, but he does a nice job. Watch, he turns his head back and makes a play. A lot of times players will not turn their head, and that's why they get flagged. But he turns his head, makes a play on the ball. That's a great job by Decoud.
Former walk-on, now on scholarship, is Victor Bolden Jr. back to return. It's another short punt. Bolden calling for a fair catch and bobbles the football. It's loose. Looks like Oregon State recovered. We'll wait for the signal.
I think you're right, but you've got a pile. Now they got to figure it out. But it looked, after he bobbled this, it looked like Bolden purposely kind of tipped the ball forward past the defenders. And you'll see
Andre Bowden.
Now, as he goes for this, see how he tips it. Now, obviously, it looks like he's trying maybe to pull it in, but it has the opposite effect. It goes forward through the defenders to his teammates.
That is a heady play because it appeared Bolden knew, Glenn, he wasn't going to be able to recover this.
I would agree. And a great job of smothering that ball.
From the Ducks 47, Ryan Knoll, and he's wrestled down by Jalen Jelks. Already his 13th career rushing score in this game. Marcus McMarion to the outside, and it's Bradford with the catch, and Trevon Bradford right near the marker. And it's McMarion keeping, and McMarion down to the 29. Troy Dye on the tackle, but a big chunk on first down.
They want to grind it, they want to run the ball, and they want to speed this game up so that clock just keeps ticking away and limit the chances Oregon has.
On 2nd and 3. This is Bolden on the fly sweep. And Bolden run out shy of a first down. Troy Dye.
And a big block out front by Ryan Nall to cut the legs out of the defender and give him just enough of an edge to get around.
And Ryan Nall powers his way straight ahead. First down, Beavers.
And Mark Helfrich wants an illegal procedure. I did not believe they were set either. The wide receivers at the far side of the field were still jockeying their feet around. And he's upset. And I think he's got a right to be. The top of the screen, you saw they were still moving when the ball was snapped.
And that will take us to the end of the first quarter of the 120th Civil War. We're tied at 7 between Oregon State and the Oregon Ducks. From a full house at Reser Stadium in Corvallis. Oregon State on the move, and Gary Anderson in his second Civil War as the Beavers head coach, going up against the Ducks and trying to end Oregon State's run. And the Beavers on the move at the Oregon 24, along with Glenn Parker and Kate Scott, Roxy Bernstein with me, and our terrific Pac-12 Network crew. Marcus McMarion from the 24. As Paul Lucas goes in motion. The pump. McMarion throws, and it's incomplete.
Your first good pop. It's the first time you really hit someone. Then all of a sudden it's real. Hey, we're playing a game, and you're still going to play faster. It's going to happen. This is the closest that most college kids get to a playoff game. And that's in the NFL, playoff games are faster. And this rivalry games are just played faster.
Ricky Ortiz, the motion man on 2nd down. And it's Nall. And this is the 4th longest rivalry in college football, and the longest west of the Rockies.
The age of some of those rivalries, 126 years ago. And I believe that's the Little Brown Jug game, is it not?
Yeah. And it will move past Missouri, Kansas, because it's in a tie with that one right now. They're not playing anymore.
And, of course, the oldest trophy in rivalry games is the Territorial Cup, which now resides in Tucson.
A little pride, I think, with that statement right there from Glenn Parker as McMarion drops it off. Victor Bolden has it stripped. Oregon has it. Justin Hollins recovers for the Ducks. There's a flag. And a late second flag comes in. To the corner, Arion Springs stripped it. Justin Hollins recovers. There are penalty markers on the play.
The play is a fumble recovered by Oregon. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Passing team number 52, that 15-yard penalty will be enforced in the recovery spot. First down, Oregon.
Here you can see as he's got the ball, Arion Springs does a nice job pulling as hard as he can, gets the ball out.
So the senior Bolding and having knocked away by Springs. And Oregon takes over. Justin Herbert on the move. Herbert, the deep ball. And it's intercepted. Deku took it right back. There's a flag.
Pass interference. Defense number 14. A 15-yard penalty. An automatic foul.
Just enough right there to give him the separation. And you'll see it right here. You'll get a good look. He's in great spot. But see that little push? That's enough. They see that, they're calling it.
Try to get the ball to Darren Carrington, and 2 penalties hit the ball out near midfield. Going down, Royce Freeman. 2nd and 10. The crowd still doesn't like it. Herbert toward the sideline, too high for Jalen Brown. Is not allowed a 3rd down in 10 or more yardage to be converted all season.
It just feels as if Oregon's offense, though, is much more capable in this situation than an Oregon State offense is at this point.
It is loud in Corvallis. On the ground, it's Royce Freeman, and he has a first down inside the 40-yard line.
And that play was run opposite of pressure. So pressure is coming. That means they're rolling the other way, and it's great job driving. You take a look at Cameron Hunt and Jake Hansen, center and right guard. Just blowing people off the ball.
16 yards for Freeman, who gets the ball again. And he's tripped up across the 35 by Manasseh Hungalu. And Freeman, he needs today 161 yards to keep an impressive streak going for Oregon of consecutive seasons with a 1,000-yard rusher. They're sitting at 9, which is the longest active streak in college football. Looking to throw is Jaylen Brown for Carrington. Touchdown, Oregon.
When you haven't had the season you want, you do what it takes. Defensively, they come up with a big strip, and the offense pays it off with a reverse pass. Safety's beat, he knows it. Other safety is too shallow, can't help. Carrington's open, and a great job of putting that ball on the money.
So Carrington with the game-winning touchdown catch last week in Salt Lake City puts Oregon on top off the pass from Jaylen Brown. Aiden Schneider for the extra point. And Oregon has taken the lead. 14-7 Ducks. The fumble forcing
Arion Springs forces the fumble. They come up with it, and what do? You got to pay it off. And a touchdown to Carrington. Ducks up 14-7 in the Civil War.
14-7 Oregon as Matt Wogan kicking off, and he blasts this one through the end zone and out to the 25.
That's part of the problem that we have with conference championships and a playoff system and the way they've set this up. So you get what you ask for.
From the 25, and it's Ryan Null. And he's wrestled down by Wayne Tay Kirby after a short gain. Pierce goes in motion, the pass to Jordan Villeman, and he's brought down on the play by Johnny Reagan.
That last touchdown that we talk about, when you got to fill some things out, it's just a simple over route. But I want you to watch how much space he gets because of first the reverse. And when we freeze this in just a moment, look where these safeties are caught and the distance between safety and receiver. There's just too much room out there. It was well designed, well executed, and led to that touchdown. You like a Ducks team that's breaking out all the stops, so to win a tough game, to show what they can do, they realize it hasn't been the best season ever.
3rd and 5, and you see a fan has run out onto the field. That ain't cool.
Really isn't even running when you look at it. He doesn't, not the best form. I believe in a more violent end to those situations than we just saw. Sorry, you come on the football field, you know, there's an old saying in the NFL, you cross the stripe, you be ready to play. The stripe is that big white stripe down the sideline. You cross that, you be ready to play.
You can't miss that stripe.
No, you don't miss that. You step over it, just be ready.
McMarion over the middle, and it's caught. First down. Trevon Bradford with his second catch.
A big throw by McMarion to come up with this. Through traffic, there's the protection first off is outstanding. He moves just enough to get vision and puts it in a very small window. And not a lot of RPMs on that ball. It was moving. It just wasn't rotating a whole lot.
McMarion slipping out. Ryan Null the catch. And Null down the sideline.
It really is cross flow, and instead of handing it, he rolls, and that draws the defenders. They lose sight of Null, and now out there, boy, you know, we talk about him running folks over. He's making people miss.
30 yards from McMarion to Ryan Null. And it's Null dragging tacklers with him. Only gets 2 yards, but it took 3 or 4 guys to bring him down. Khalil Oliver, the first man there. He goes in motion. McMarion, inside screen. And it's Timmy Hernandez inside the 20, down to the 18.
Timmy Hernandez, I tell you, he seems so undersized, but does a nice job of throwing himself around. It's a tunnel screen. Stanton's just a little slow to get out there,
McMarion keeps, picks his way inside the 15. First down, Beavers.
Nice.
Tyree Robinson the tackle.
Nicely designed quarterback keep with counter motion. So you're going to pull a lineman. You see Stanton pull. Null leads. You get a double team at the second level with Harlow and Stanton. McMarion does a nice job reading off it to get the first down.
Oregon State looking for the equalizer here. And it's Ryan Null. Runs into a pile. Bolden's in the slot to the right side with Villeman. Timmy Hernandez out to the left. That's Bolden in motion. McMarion under pressure, steps up, keeps the play alive. And he's down to the 6 before TJ Daniel forced him down. McMarion jumps it off. Touchdown to Ortiz.
So everybody in football runs this. It looks like a lead, and then he's out. Every West Coast, it's a simple slide protection. He runs under it. It's beautifully done. Ortiz, they lose sight of him again. They do so much with the split flow that when it is a pass, guys are coming wide open.
Garrett Owens, the extra point is Ricky Ortiz, his first career touchdown catch in the senior. I caught it.
I really didn't even mean to do that.
Matt Wogan, a short, rather from Oregon State, a short kick. And the Ducks get it back out across the 25 as Adley Rutschman's kick is returned. Downtown Corvallis on a Civil War Saturday. We're knotted at 14. As the Cardinal in action. An impressive finish to the year for David Shaw's team. Flag down as Justin Herbert throws deep. And Jalen Brown drops it.
Defense number 49 was lined up in the neutral zone. A 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
It's on linebacker Anjay Hughes-Murray, the freshman from Federal Way, Washington.
And this ball is put right where it has to be. There's open space. Beautifully thrown. Jalen Hurts just has to make that play. Sometimes those are the hardest, though.
1st and 5. Herbert dumps it off to Charles Nelson. And he bounces it outside. And Nelson cuts it back. Brought down shy of midfield. Elu Aiden gets downfield, the defensive tackle to make the stop.
Brady Aiello, the left tackle, number 66. Watch him out here in front. He's going to get a flat back right there, and then he's going to dive and try to get another guy. That's great blocking by your offensive line.
Royce Freeman slashes into Oregon State territory and gets 4 yards.
If you watch that, you can figure out everything else. It's easy. Your safeties and your lines.
Inside 5 minutes to go, first half in a tie game. Freeman pushed out inside the 15. 34 yards before he's run out by Brandon Arnold.
And great blocking at the perimeter by your wide receiver out here. Does a nice job, doesn't hold. He's right in the face of the officials. That sets that big gap. It's a hard fit for your defense. Great job running by Freeman.
Oregon looking to reclaim the lead. Tony Brooks-James, the ball carrier. And he's brought down behind the line. 4 receivers, including 2 tight ends. And a delay. Fumbled by Brooks-James. Oregon State says they have it. Beaver football.
A huge turn. I don't believe that Brooks-James ever has this ball. It rolls out. It looked like it was covered by the Beavers. But that's an extra possession that Oregon State's going to get now, ending the half and getting it coming out. Brooks-James with the ball. You'll see he has it. It's stripped immediately. Beavers with it. That's a big turn.
Up after that turnover, getting the ball back to their offense. And Treston, maybe even more fired up than the guys he's playing alongside, because when he was looking to transfer from community college just a couple of years ago, he actually sent his tape to Oregon, and he says he still has a screenshot of the email he got back from them December 17th, 2014, that said the Ducks would not be offering him a scholarship. Treston said, that email always stuck with me because I just thought I could play with those guys, and I'd say he's proven that he can play with them here today. Guys.
All right, Kate, the defense just forcing their 20th turnover on the year and their 13th fumble recovery for Oregon State. Artavis Pierce, the running back, as the Beavers are at their own 6 after the costly turnover. And Pierce out to the 15. Do they need to pick the tempo up a little bit?
Maybe a little, but they're not going to change who they are.
On 2nd and 1, McMarion keeps, and he's spun down behind the line.
You need to get out from the shadow of your goalpost, but you can't go so fast you give Oregon any time.
And a timeout taken by Oregon State. The first charge timeout to the Beavers here with Ryan Nall, the running back, and Ricky Ortiz, who caught a touchdown, lined up at tight end. Bolden goes in motion, and it's Nall straight ahead. And Nall fights forward for an Oregon State first down. He has 50 yards after contact already today in both rushing and receiving. Ricky Ortiz in motion from the 18. McMarion play action to the sideline, and Brendan Schooler there for Oregon pushes Timmy Hernandez out of bounds. 2nd and 6. And it's Ryan Nall straight ahead, barreling his way to an Oregon State first down. 2 timeouts for Oregon State. Oregon has all 3. Ryan Nall goes in motion as McMarion will throw on first down. To the outside and nearly intercepted. Trying to get it to Jordan Villeman, and Troy Dye. If that pass is on target for McMarion, that's an easy pick 6.
Yeah, Troy Dye read it. He knew where it was coming. McMarion, he's watching one, but he never gives the impression that he's not doing exactly, because his shoulders was turned the entire time. He never gave the impression he was going anywhere but there. A really good read by Dye.
And the true freshman who leads Oregon in tackles this year has had a brilliant freshman year. And Troy Dye, the first freshman linebacker to start the opener, the first true freshman linebacker to start the opener in 38 years when he started their opener this year. Inside screen to Bolden, cuts it back. And Bolden brought down. Taking time, it looks like Oregon State will take time here, and then the play clock roll down. You've been highlighting.
Yeah, and the concept. See, this is just zone blocking one way with a read, which it gives you kind of a split flow look. That's what zone read does. But then you can run split flow where you're bringing your guy back across the formation. It's, again, the same blocking, a very small tweak to the look. And right here, this is zone blocking, and now with split flow with your fullback on the same side as your quarterback. Again, the same blocking, minor differences that give you many different looks for defense. So while it starts looking the same, that little tweak makes a big difference. They do a great job of making everything look kind of alike and then hit you with a little different.
There are the numbers on Nall today. He ran for a career high 221 yards earlier this season against Cal. McMarion steps up under pressure, and it's incomplete.
We're going to take a look. This is just continued pursuit. Brings him down. And, you know, the thing is, McMarion is sitting there with his head down because he realizes he just missed what should have been a completion for a first down.
Koretsky, the Aussie, punting from inside his own 20, his second punt. And he gets an end-over-end punt. And Dylan Mitchell calls for a fair catch. Ball games.
Oregon State, the third and final of the half. Again,
UCLA, Colorado, where a heartbreaking loss. It's typical for what happened in Colorado the last 2 years. They dominated that game. At one point, they ran 59 out of 61 plays from scrimmage, yet couldn't close the deal in that game. And it's completely flipped for Coach Mack and the Buffs this year. And a chance to win the Pac-12 South with a win over Utah. Royce Freeman, nothing there. In the Civil War, we expected a close ball game, and we are getting one. And Kate Scott down on the field with Gary Anderson.
Well, Coach, you told us during the week that you wanted to limit the amount of plays that Oregon was going to run and then run the football on offense. How do you feel you did in accomplishing that in the first half?
On the ball, just okay. We've had some nice drives, which has been a positive thing for us. And, we've had some situations that a mature football team doesn't do in a big game with some penalties and some different scenarios. So we have to settle down and play big boy football in big-time moments and be a mature team. And we'll have an opportunity to win the game. But so far, so good. Tied up ball game.
What else do you need to do in the second half to win this one?
I think we got to run the ball. We got to get some big runs and effectively move the ball down the field. And we get in the red zone, we can't turn it over. We've old teams have turned it over in the red zone. Those are huge turnovers, one for us, one against us. So we answered back, but at the end of the day, you have to score when you get in there.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Beavs.
Ryan Nall, first half touchdown for Oregon State. The yards just about even in terms of total offense. But a tie ball game in the Civil War. It's a rivalry game, and we're getting what we want, a close one between Oregon and Oregon State. Along with Glenn Parker and Kate Scott, Roxy Bernstein with you, the 120th Civil War, and it's a tie ball game. Turnovers played a big factor in the first half of this game.
Well, they have. Both team has one. It hasn't been the cleanest game overall, but it's exactly what Oregon State wanted. They own time of possession 2-1, and now I know Oregon always plays how many possessions, but if you're gonna beat them in this type of game, you have to own the ball as much as possible and make the game clock speed by getting first downs, keeping the clock running, and that's exactly what Oregon State did in that first half.
And for Gary Anderson, he's looking to end the Oregon 8-year run in the Civil War, and Ryan Nall getting involved for Oregon State.
In every phase. And right here, just a beautiful catch. Does a great job going down for that ball. But, he's a battering ram, as we've talked about. He makes people want to miss him. He makes them miss. He kind of does it all. And he's the type of guy that you key on so heavily that you wonder, how does he get lost in a pass route? But he does. They do a really nice job of using him in different looks and then having a change of pace and bringing in other backs and running with their quarterback. They've got a nice offense set up right now around Ryan Nall.
And Marcus McMaryion had an efficient first half in support of Nall, the Oregon State quarterback, 12 of 17 through the air, threw a touchdown pass to Ricky Ortiz. While on the other side for Oregon, the Ducks have used Royce Freeman, who ran for 71 yards in the first half. Tony Brooks-James, a touchdown run for Mark Helfrich. And Justin Herbert was okay in the first half as well, only threw the ball 9 times. But he's managing the game, and a freshman getting introduced to this great rivalry and one of the premier rivalries in college football.
Yeah, and obviously he's from right up here, so he's used to it. He knows all about it. But I think he's been efficient. They haven't asked him to make hard throws. They've set up a lot of things for him. And what he's done is he actually should have another lot of yards because there was a drop by Jaylen Brown. And so he's been everything you'd want a freshman to be in a game of this type.
Matt Wogan with the second half kickoff that bounces through the back of the end zone. Oregon State football as we check in with Kate.
Well, guys, I talked to Coach Helfrich coming out of the locker room, asked him what he said to the guys in the locker room, and he said, I told him I was proud of him. I thought they did a good job walking away from some heated, emotional situations in that first half. Told him to just do the same here in the second, keep their heads about him, and they've got to finish clean offensively, as you just mentioned, Glenn. He said, we had a touchdown in the first half. We just dropped the football. So finish clean offensively. These are the last 2 quarters of your season. Go out there and play like it, guys.
All right, Kate, everything on the line in this game. This means so much to both sides. The schools separated by about 45 minutes. And Oregon State would love nothing more to end this drought, while Oregon wants to keep their dominance going over their arch rival. Ryan Nall starts off the second half, and he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Marion, obviously more opportunities and therefore more yards, but in reality, I look at the way the Beavers are going about it by eating that clock up and grinding out drives.
And trying to keep that Oregon offense off the field. Second down, 10 for the Beavers at the 25. And McMaryion gives to Nall straight ahead, and he's brought down by Gary Baker. 4 receivers lined up for the Beavers. Nall, the running back, next to Marcus McMaryion. From the pocket, McMaryion under pressure, trying to keep the play alive, and he goes down. He's sacked. TJ Daniel. 3rd sack of the year for Daniel, the senior.
McMaryion does a good job of getting out, but credit Daniel. He comes all the way around. He never gives up. He keeps his motor running. McMaryion has to understand that's a youthful mistake.
Nick Poretsky punting from his own goal line in a rugby-style kick. Dylan Mitchell on the return. Mitchell keeps it alive, then goes down.
It is, and it's because of that sack. That sack was a 13-yard loss. Well, the difference in starting field position, 15 yards. The longer it takes for a team, the more plays they have to run to get a touchdown, the odds are something devastating happens.
Royce Freeman, in his first carry of the second half, nets a first down and a gain of 11.
And for no other reason than it's been studied, the more you go over 7 plays in a drive, the odds of having a turnover or a negative play skyrocket.
Into Beaver territory. Tony Brooks-James gets the carry. And Brooks-James weaves his way down to the 30-yard line. 19 yards for Tony Brooks-James.
The offensive line, they're doing a great job of owning their ground at number one and then setting the edge. So the puller, in that case, Gus Lavaca coming around.
Brooks-James breaks a tackle. And Tony Brooks-James gets 5. Devin Chappelle on the stop.
So we see that attitude. Oregon's defense came out fired up. They needed to get something done. They get a sack, they force a punt, and their offense now is taking up that mantle and really coming off the ball.
Royce Freeman back in. Herbert on the rollout for the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon, Charles Nelson.
A great job. I love Justin Herbert taking his time, letting this develop. The tight end under isn't what he wants. He wants that over route by Charles Nelson. And he delivers an absolute strike. And Nelson, a nice job going up to get this ball.
5th touchdown grab for Nelson on the season. And Herbert, an impressive 19-4 touchdown to interception ratio on the season with that 19 touchdown pass. Aiden Schneider the extra point, and Oregon has reclaimed the lead.
Oh, true freshman Justin Herbert. Just a great job being patient, getting his shoulders around, delivering a strike. And Charles Nelson, the guy does it all for the Ducks.
With a touchdown run for Oregon, as the Ducks have almost 150 yards on the ground between Brooks-James and Freeman. And a 21-14 lead for Oregon in the 120th Civil War. Could be returnable. And it's Bolden bringing it out. And he's brought down shy of the 25, and a late penalty marker comes in on the play.
Personal foul, face mask, kicking team number 6, a 15-yard penalty. First down, Oregon State.
You see, you get him right here. He hits him hard upside the head, knocks the helmet off. Not sure it's a face mask, but it is a penalty.
From the 38. You got to be able to channel those emotions in a rivalry game. Victor Bolden in motion. It's Marcus McMarion keeps, and he gets 1. 3 receivers out to the left. Ryan Null, the running back, as McMarion will throw. McMarion tipped to the line, and it's incomplete.
You see, hey, you can't get there. Get your paws up. That's a nice job. I think that's Gary Baker got his hand on that.
Well, I'm impressed with what Brady Hoke has done with his defense, considering how many guys they have coming in and out and injuries they're dealing with, and they've put up a strong showing here like they did in Salt Lake City last week. 3rd and 9. Marcus McMarion looking, throws, coming back, and it's incomplete. Tried to squeeze it into Victor Bolden Jr.
I mean, this ball is put out there. Let's see how close it gets, because Bolden has to come back. It's going to be a first down. He does a nice job coming back, but he doesn't turn his hands over. He tries to basket it.
He's got to make that play.
He's got to make that play.
And he launches this one toward Dylan Mitchell. It calls for a fair catch in the Civil War.
Oh, welcome back. Parker's Puzzler. Are we here? How about the power surge of the teams? Colorado, Washington State. These guys have all come up. They're title contenders, but now how about the power outage on the flip side? The Oregon, UCLA, Arizona, all struggling this year. These are the things that just kind of make you shake your head a little bit. How about right on cue? The faces at QB, the new people, Sam Darnold, first amongst them. And what a tough act to follow. Chris McCaffrey. 43% of Stanford's offense. How about quietly dominating? He has done that.
Royce Freeman gets the ball on first down. And he gets about 3 out to the 24-yard line.
That beautiful Parker's puzzler, Adam Gordon, doing great work as always for me.
Justin Herbert to the outside. And it's Jacob Breeland the catch. And he's brought down at the 45 by Dwayne Williams.
So tight ends for the Ducks. They're using them a lot today. It was a problem, I think, and it always has been for Oregon State. What can tight ends do to them? You see right here, Bradford, they've done a nice job because that opens up more and more the middle of the field that they can attack against the safeties.
Short gain for Freeman. This is a critical sequence here for Oregon State. And Herbert complete to Johnny Munt. And he gets into Oregon State territory.
The tight end, he's in the backfield this time, comes out of the backfield for this. So what they're doing, they're attacking edges right now with their tight ends. Again, where have they made their most yards? Over routes and middle of the field. Those are the big plays come. Watch for them setting that up.
1st and 10 at the 44. The give to Freeman. And he is brought down after a short gain. Inside 9 minutes to go, third quarter. Ducks up a touchdown. Justin Herbert fires, and it's nearly intercepted by Dwayne Williams. The pass behind Johnny Munt.
Yeah, you feel like this game is starting to slide a little against them. Their offense hasn't done anything. They need a big play here.
Ducks just 2 of 4 on third down. The screen to Royce Freeman cuts it back. And Freeman, first down and more.
And Freeman shows why he's been so good for the Ducks. Understanding where the sticks are, making a couple of people miss to get it, and then showing that burst.
Just outside the 20. Tony Brooks-James tripped up. Somehow stayed up. And there's a flag down that came in late as Brooks-James gets down to the 14.
Didn't you see it?
Play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Offense number 78. A 15-yard penalty. The down will count. Second.
So Cameron Hunt, who earlier in the game drew a penalty by giving a little bit of extracurricular, this time he gets the flag against him.
And Hunt's always been a guy, Glenn, that has played right up until the edge.
That's
and
right.
Sometimes crosses it.
But see right there, he knocks him down and then he drives in on top of him again. If he hadn't done that, no big deal.
But that's what makes Hunt such a terrific player, is how fiercely he plays and the edge he plays with.
No doubt.
Herbert looking deep for the end zone for Johnny Munt. Incomplete. Caleb Salo went back into coverage.
Yeah, Caleb Salo running stride for stride with Munt. You would think that's a good matchup for Oregon. But Salo does a nice job staying with him, playing with his hands a little bit, turns around. That's a really good job in coverage.
4 receivers for Herbert. Herbert throws over the middle, almost intercepted.
It's 2 drops of easy interceptions for this defense. Now Chappelle, you see right here, Devin Chappelle goes down. He has this ball. He's in it, but he drops it, and he starts immediately grabbing his hand. Now after the first down where Royce Freeman almost got, after that first down, he was holding that hand. He had heard it at some point at that time.
And you can tell it's still stinging for Chappelle. Schneider, 8 of 11 this year. His long is 47. His career long is 47, which he's made twice. Schneider has the leg. It is good. Aiden Schneider from 46 yards away. And it's 24-14 Ducks. It's been a dry Civil War game. We expected some rain. It has held off, and it actually was a beautiful day right around kickoff. And speaking of the kickoff, Matt Wogan sends it through the back of the end zone. The Trojans, boy, ever since they made that switch at quarterback, and I know that Darnold started that game where they lost at Utah, but since then, that has been just an impressive team to watch, the way they've come together for Clay Helton.
And Darnold's been impressive. Just the fun he's having, number one, but the way he's getting it done. It's another great USC quarterback.
And a 2-score lead for the Ducks, who are looking to win their 9th consecutive Civil War. Ryan Nall straight ahead. First down, and Nall breaks through the line out to the 41.
Another thing I would look for McMarion to throw in non-passing situations. So this is split flow. They did a great job with it. It's something we've shown you. It's just zone read alphabet. Give him the ball.
From the Beavers 41. McMarion keeps, and Marcus McMarion runs into Oregon territory.
Discussed they needed to do this a couple of drives ago. This is a simple way of running a type of split flow, but McMarion is the option at this point. He takes off, he's gone, does a nice job.
At the Oregon 41. On first down, Pierce the ball carrier, and Pierce drags a couple of tacklers with him to the 37.
Wow.
Because it had stayed dry.
You know, it's not nice to mess with Mother Nature.
I shouldn't. I spoke too soon. On second down, Pierce again. Pierce inside the 20, and Johnny Reagan brought him down. But another big run for Oregon State, as the Beavers, needing a drive like this, are getting one.
And they're getting great push from their offensive line. Hands are inside. You see that's a Velcro-style block. They're sticking to those blocks. Pierce making them pay. 20-yard gain for Pierce. Does a nice job getting that second level fast.
Pierce goes in motion, and it screens it up to Pierce. And Pierce tripped up at the 15. Timmy Hernandez, Jordan Villeman out to the right. Victor Bolden out to the left as Ryan Nall back in at running back. Bolden, the motion man, and it's Nall the carry. There's a hole for Nall. Touchdown, Oregon State. After falling behind 2 scores, Garrett Owens the extra point. And it's a 3-point game as we reach the late stages of the third quarter of the Civil War.
And just watch this motion. Draw the defense over the top. It opens wide up for Nall then. Great blocking up front. Right guard Dustin Stanton pins inside. And Nall is gone. Well designed, well set up, and perfectly executed.
11 rushing touchdowns for Ryan Nall on the season. Adley Rutschman with the kickoff, and it's a pooch kick that bounces. Oregon State has it. Andre Bowden recovered.
Offside. Kicking team number 86. 5-yard penalty. Free kick.
So Bowden, who recovered the kickoff, was guilty of being offside.
And we'll take a look. That's a tough call. I don't know that he was over the line before that ball is kicked.
It was close. Gives Oregon another chance here.
And we'll get one last look. You're looking for 86, but you're looking for anybody offside. That ball hits. Boy, that's close. That's a tough call to make, but it's right in front of the official. He doesn't hear the kick, and he sees the jersey beforehand. He throws the rivalry. Just got real live all of a sudden again.
Bowden holding it for the kickoff. And again, a short kickoff. And it's Justin Hollins who makes the catch.
Back to you guys.
I'm still waiting with my Heisman ballot until the final game has been played. Herbert dumps it off to Royce Freeman, who's run out of bounds near the 45. But Adoree Jackson trying to make a statement. Can he make a push? I know it's a lot to ask.
I think it's too late, and you have to, it's one of those things that you know as well as I do. You really got to dethrone someone, and Lamar Jackson's been anointed. He's going to have to really have a bad game here soon.
Royce Freeman out to the 49, has a first down. Now let's send it down to Kate, who's braving the elements on the field.
Well, as you guys mentioned, both of these schools obviously used to the rain. But another thing you mentioned I think is going to be the most important thing to pay attention to, the wind. It is really a swirling wind down here, going really hard one direction 1 second, very next second really hard the other direction. So keep an eye on this swirling wind, guys.
We'll keep an eye on it from our cozy position up here in the booth. We got a roof. We're inside. We're not as tough as Kate is.
No. And the thing is, before this happened, I was thinking afterwards, big game, maybe sit outside, talk a little bit, let the traffic die. Now I'm going to be sitting in my car in traffic.
Or we're going to stay up here.
I'll stay right here.
As an injury for Oregon State is Dwayne Williams getting looked at. A loose football got in the field from the Oregon sideline, so they stop play. Royce Freeman at running back. A high snap. Herbert. Play action. On the move. Herbert. And he goes down. It's a loss on the play.
Nowhere to go with the ball. Now they've got this. They like this formation. Tight end is in that slot. Look for him.
2nd and 12. High snap again. Herbert throws it high. And there's a flag down. It's incomplete.
Holding. Offense number 55. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
Movement up front. Did Oregon State jump across first as Elu Aiden was offside?
I think so.
With contact. Defense number 99. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's on the redshirt freshman Aiden.
You have got them in a position you want. Here's the snaps we talk about. This one's high. That creates timing issues. This one, well and above. Again, the type of things that hurt your drives. But if you're Oregon State, you can't have these penalties.
Herbert, give to Royce Freeman. Hit at the line by Hungalu. 4 receivers. Justin Herbert to Jalen Brown. And Brown brought down. Good open field tackle by Xavier Crawford, and it's 4th down. And Wheeler gets the punt away. And that one will trickle inside the 5 and into the end zone.
Staring at each other, you think they probably would have had that down, but one thought it was out, one thought it was in. So you have a referee on the hash and one on the sideline. He has stepped on the line when he's touching the ball. Now, if he's allowed to be in the end zone if he's touching the ball outside the end zone, but at the point where you're touching in the end zone and the ball is there, it comes back out.
And the ball clearly was on the goal line, and even it was on part of the black.
That's correct.
So therefore, the touchback call is a good call, and Oregon State has the ball at their own 20-yard line. Hernandez goes in motion, and it's Nall the carry, and Nall brought down by Justin Hollins after a 5-yard gain. And it's Ryan Nall straight ahead, and he barrels out to the 29, a yard shy of the first down. Jimmy Swain, the tackle.
Nall, you see, snap is good. Nall takes the ball. Like the fact he's got points of pressure on it. And he just keeps the pads low. You see, nobody gets there's no soft tissue hits.
Helfrich and Gary Anderson have had their teams well prepared for this Civil War. And it's been a terrific afternoon of football and a tight one in Corvallis with 1 quarter to go.
Would you have it any other way? This is outstanding.
Along with Glenn Parker and Kate Scott, Roxy Bernstein with you at Reser Stadium is Ryan Nall. It's close.
Wow, it is really close. They're marking right on the line. It depends. Do they mark it just short or just over? It depends. Where the nub of that ball is will be the difference.
Bolden in motion. And again, it's Nall. This time he's wrapped up behind the line. And a gang of Oregon Ducks there, led by Arion Springs. The corner was the first man there as the Oregon defense took a team picture in the backfield.
Yeah, and really, Justin Hollins is the one. He read that perfectly. He trusted his eyes when he looked at McMarion, and he got himself down in there. And you're right, Arion Springs was right in there as well.
Timmy Hernandez, the motion man. McMarion keeps. McMarion, first down and more. Marcus McMarion into Oregon territory, finally brought down by Jimmy Swain. At the 36, 2nd down 8. Ricky Ortiz, the H-back. As it's Nall dancing through the line. Nall to the outside. First down, Ugo Amadi chopped him down.
A great tackle by Ugo Amadi. But back to what they do. It's zone blocking, split flow. You're going to see Ortiz cross in front, and that's where Nall's going. Now, there's great penetration up front from Elijah Jordan. But Nall, strong enough to get through that, and then nifty enough to get 14 yards.
4th 100-yard game this season for Nall, and the 6th of his career. And his 2nd in as many games against Oregon. Artavis Pierce gives him a breather. As Pierce takes the handoff, and Pierce breaks a tackle. And Pierce down to the 20.
If you're from Oregon, you went to one of these two schools, just the way it is. You know, talking to my nephew earlier, who goes to Oregon, all of his friends went to Oregon State. He comes up here to see him, cheer, and get a little crazy.
Artavis Pierce breaks a tackle. And Pierce still going. Finally brought down by Troy Dye. Tremendous run by the freshman Artavis Pierce.
Now you have to ask yourself, okay, hey, Oregon State is playing hard right now. They're going after, look at it, breaking tackles, getting out. They're playing for something that they haven't had in a long time. Oregon is playing for pride. Which one gives out first is the question you ask.
Pierce continues at running back. McMarion keeps. McMarion down to the 6. Danny Mattingly there along with Khalil Oliver. This has been an impressive drive for Oregon State.
They take a look at the rushing yards right there. In a game like this, it's time of possession, obviously, with the rushing yards. That's what's enabling that time of possession. The 2-yard gains, the 3-yard gains, and all just dragging people.
Victor Bolden in motion. And it's Noel straight ahead. He's in. Touchdown, Oregon State. And the Beavers have gone in front.
They run the same play they ran earlier for a touchdown, but going the other way. Ghost motion, split flow, null right through the middle. It broke for a big gain earlier in the game. It breaks for a touchdown this time for the Beavers.
A touchdown is under further review.
Well, let's take a look. We're going to get a great look right here. And that ball is over. That's a touchdown. That's great camera work. Jillian Crowell, Jeremy Brown out there doing the work. Good stuff.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So the ruling stands. Touchdown, Beavers.
They went from 3 possessions of punting to a dominant drive to close out the third quarter and start this fourth quarter.
Garrett Owens nails the extra point, and Oregon State has the lead. As the Beavs have rallied from 24-14 down, and Ryan Nall leading the comeback. 3 rushing scores, 112 yards on the ground today for the Beavers sophomore running back. Adley Rutschman the kickoff. Tony Brooks-James lets it go into the end zone, a touchback. And we're still going to find out who's going to represent the Pac-12 South in the Pac-12 title game against Washington next week. From the 25, Royce Freeman the carry. And Freeman, the penalty flag down, out across the 30.
Hold it. Offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty. Okay, first down.
Right guard Cameron Hunt.
He's upset. He's jawing a little bit with that, with the refs. But, you know, I like what Mark Helfrich, I like what they did here. You don't want to put this on the shoulders of your true freshman quarterback. You challenge your offensive line and your experienced running back to drive this ball down the field.
After the penalty, football back at the 15, 1st and 20. It's Royce Freeman to the outside, cuts it back, and he gets out across the 20, gains 6.
Looks a little slippery out there.
Second down, 14. Here is Herbert. Screen set up for Charles Nelson. Nelson. Not much there. Here there was some daylight early, but then quickly the Beavers closed in. Sumner Houston, the first man there.
You'll see offensive line, they let them get beat. They get downfield. It looks, as you said, it looks like something's there, but guys start flying around. You know, everything happens a little faster, as we said. It's a rivalry.
The play stops in violation of the substitution rule. It is third down.
And a draw play for Royce Freeman. And Freeman out to the 30, where Devin Chappelle tackled him, and it's 4th down. Ian Wheeler punting from his own 15. And into the wind, you see the ball just dies, but it takes an Oregon bounce. And it'll be downed at the Beavers' 31-yard line. From the 32. And they give it to Null. And Null is tripped up. All 3 timeouts per side remaining. On 2nd and 6. Marcus McMarion. And the give to Null. And Null spinning for a first down.
So year by year, this is the Oregon defense under Mark Helfrich. Now, if this is the stock market in your portfolio, you're happy. But defensively, this many yards year by year getting worse. Now, there has been a change at defensive coordinator twice. So that's a big part of it. Personnel groupings are different because of the different coaches, but not the trend you'd like to see. Mark Helfrich, there's been a lot of talk. Does he deserve the talk? I don't believe so. I think he's too good a coach, too good a recruiter. I think got to be patient. Give him a chance to do his thing.
He's 37-15 in his 4 seasons. Null straight ahead, and Null across midfield. You think about what Mark Helfrich has accomplished. An Oregon school record, 13 wins back in 2014, an appearance in the national championship game, a Rose Bowl win, a conference championship, all for Mark Helfrich in his 4 seasons at Oregon as the head coach.
It's kind of like being the president, though. It's the guy in front of you did it all, right? It wasn't you. That's what a lot of people are going to want to believe. It wasn't him. So I'd look now. This is where Oregon has to be careful. Big plays can happen when you try to do too much. You get caught looking. Play action, maybe. Quarterback keep, maybe. Big things can kill you.
2nd and 2. Null gets the first down. Powers to the 45. Khalil Oliver and Johnny Reagan brought him down.
And I would think with as effective as they are being the last 2 drives running, the push that they're getting up front. Look at that push. They're getting a hat on a hat. He's not touched until yard 3, and he gets himself 6.
Bolden the motion man. And it's Null straight ahead. And Null brought down at the 40. Bolden again in motion. And this is Null. First down, barrels his way inside the 30. And Oregon State just riding the wrecking Null, Ryan Null.
If anything embodies the difference between Oregon State and Oregon and their mentalities, it is Ryan Null. It's not pretty. It's right in your face and smashing you. They're not going to be fancy. They're not going to be fast.
Oregon desperately needs a stop. Artavis Pierce runs right into Mondu, but then drags a couple of tacklers with him down to the 20.
Artavis Pierce has come in, and what a change in tempo, but running just as hard. He's so impressive.
It seemed he was wrapped up for a loss on the play, but Henry Mondu could not bring him down.
He kept his feet driving, and then the big fellas, they just kind of get in there and push that pile.
And Mondu needs help off the field. Pierce to the outside. Pierce inside the 5, pushed out of bounds.
And how about Pierce, smart enough not to run out of bounds, gets himself back inside and will take the hit rather than run out of bounds to keep the clock running. Look at him stop right here and stay in, and then lower the shoulder to stay in.
20 more for the Beavers and Artavis Pierce. First and goal at the 1, and Oregon State looking for the knockout blow. Null straight ahead. Touchdown Oregon State, and that may do it. Garrett Owens off the high snap, misses the extra point. Our 76 fueled moment, and Ryan Null into the end zone for a 4th time today. And he single-handedly, Glenn, trying to end this drought for Oregon State against the Ducks. K through a minute 56 away from winning the Civil War. Justin Herbert on first down. Fires over the middle, in and out of the hands of Jaylen Brown. Incomplete. And Glenn, this was a 24-14 lead for Oregon in the middle of the 3rd quarter. Then this game drastically changed in Gary Anderson's way, in his favor. What have you noticed changed the tide of this football game?
Well, the inability of Oregon to close out some drives, obviously that was a big deal, but when the field goal, You know, we can take a field goal rather than the touchdown. That's huge.
Herbert on second down. To the outside, and Johnny Munt with the catch and steps out of bounds.
And then the taking away of Royce Freeman in so many of the things they'd like to do with him. The isolating Charles Nelson and not allowing Herbert to roll and find him. And by doing those things, you kind of take over the game, and they've decided, okay, now we're going to run the ball on top of that.
On third down, Herbert. And it's broken up by Brandon Arnold, tried to get that to Charles Nelson.
And to put an exclamation on it, going into half, what did Gary Anderson say? We got to run the ball better. Well, they came out and they looked terrible, but then they ran the ball 21 straight times for 2 touchdowns. So that's how these things happen.
4th and 6 at the 29. A minute 39 to go. Herbert throws toward the sideline, and it's caught. Darren Carrington, first down, Oregon, out near midfield and past midfield into Beavers territory.
Absolutely beautiful throw, and what a catch by Carrington. The guy just keeps showing up. 26 yards. They get out of a 4th down. There's still plenty of time. They score. They can get the ball back.
Herbert under pressure. Herbert throws it away. Johnny Munt was in the area, and it's second down.
And here's that previous play. Good form, steps through the ball, puts it right out where only Carrington has a chance at it.
Minute 25 remaining. Oregon has all 3 timeouts. Herbert over the middle to Carrington. And it's a first down inside the 30.
Remember what we said in that first half. That's where they're finding their yards. It's been over the middle and deep. So over the middle is open. The linebackers are up tight. The safeties aren't closing down.
Herbert for the end zone, incomplete.
And right about now, if you're a Beavers fan, you're thinking, oh yeah, that extra point.
10-point game. Pass intended for Jaylen Brown. Second down and 10. Do you start thinking about a field goal, Glenn, because you need to score twice?
Yeah, if you get to a position, where it's at that point, you go, okay, we get a field goal, try to get the ball back to score. You're going to have to do it anyways.
Here's Herbert. Steps up, goes down. Elu Aiden, the redshirt freshman from American Samoa.
Herbert steps up. That's not your offensive lineman's fault. Quarterback's supposed to be in a spot. He should roll out. By stepping up, he steps up into the block.
Oregon burns their first timeout.
And I can only think of one game they were really run off the field.
That's a credit to Gary Anderson and his staff, the way they've gotten the buy-in, as you termed it earlier. And there's no quit in this Oregon State team all season. On third down, Herbert steps up. Herbert launches for the end zone, and it's intercepted. No, incomplete. Treston Teku could not hang on.
He's gonna just kick himself. A chance to end it right there, but great job on his part. It was great defense. He's been all day long. He's been there. Comes down and just a little violently.
And it's fourth down. Last hope for Oregon to hang in this game. They've converted 1 4th down already on this drive.
And look, middle of the field, that's where they've been getting their yards.
Herbert under pressure. Throws for the end zone, open, and it's dropped. Johnny Munt was wide open.
And credit Herbert. He did a great job of staying alive. He saw Munt open, middle of the field out there. How he got that open, who knows, and he puts it on him. And that's a big-time reaction to that Herbert isn't a child. He walked up and hugged Johnny Munt. And that's what we talk about. Sometimes the easiest ones are the hardest.
And there's the dejection from Herbert. Knows he made the play, and you feel for Johnny Mundt, a senior, playing in his final game.
No doubt, but I'll go back to the maturity of Herbert. Not overreacting there. I think we're going to see a lot of great things from him.
And he goes to a knee. And Oregon State now 34 seconds away as Oregon takes a timeout.
Oregon, the first of the half. Please reset the game clock to 36 seconds.
They have one more time. McMarion drops to a knee. Helfrich can stop it once more if he wants, and the only question now is, will we get a field storming?
And it looks like they're holding them back at this point.
We've got our answer. Here they come. And for the first time since 2007, Oregon State will win the Civil War.
What a great win for Gary Anderson. How hard he's tried to change this program. And this is justification for him.
And somewhere out of the field, Kate Scott is with Gary Anderson.
Yeah, I somehow found him in this madness, Coach. You snapped the streak. You got your first win in the Civil War. What's this like? Look around.
Unbelievable. It's a great crowd. These kids work their tails off, come back from 10 points down, run the ball. They followed our plan to win. I love these kids. I love this place. Go Beavers.
Ryan Nall had a Civil War performance for the ages. Talk about that kid.
Oh, this one.
Get that kid. That is just as important.
He's a tough kid now. He runs hard. He's physical. The O-line did a great job. We just wore him out at the end. And I don't know what else to say. I love my kids, man.
Well, and you said something that stuck with us during our phone call earlier in the week, that you'd love to give your seniors more wins. You can't do that, but you wanted to get them a win today. So what would you like to say to your seniors?
I love them. You know, they stuck with us through all the change and everything that came around, a lot of hard times. That's a tough deal.
You got
Beavs, how about that? Let's go.
Got your first one, Garrett. Congratulations. Guys, back to you.
All right, Kate, the emotions and the candor from Gary Anderson, and how much you can see, Glenn, on his face. And just talking to Kate, how much this win means to him and the program that he's building at Oregon State.
He came in, he tore it down, he's rebuilding, and these are the type that change your program, particularly when you're a guy that's done it before.
So Oregon State behind, a terrific performance from Ryan Nall and a great second half comeback. They were down, they rallied, and Oregon State found a way to get it done and end the drought against Oregon, the first win of the Civil War for the Beavers since 2007. For Glenn Parker and Kate Scott, our terrific Pac-12 Network crew, Director Scott Barkey, producer Michael Molinari, everybody here in Corvallis, the final 34-24 Beavers.